out here today, not at my local movie theater, because today I am going to go see Power Rangers. And no movie theater is showing that anymore. Except for this one! That seems like it's smaller, so it only shows like older movies, but it's still AMC, so yeah, this is my first time going to see something so late, but I'm pretty excited, so I'm gonna go in and buy my ticket and see what it's like, and then I'll update you guys in a sec. So the inside of this place pretty much looks exactly like a regular AMC. Has all of the posters for all the new movies, but there's no one here. And also, I just got a movie ticket for $1.99, so that is so freaking cool. Let's see. He said theater 1. Ah, very hotel looking over here. Let's see if there's anyone inside. Alright guys, so the movie just ended and I'm going to be heading back home now. It was so much fun. There weren't a lot of people in the movie theater, but it was still pretty enjoyable. Anyway, it's like a 30 to 40 minute drive home, so I'll talk to you more when I get there. Bye.
Alright guys, so I'm back from the movie theater, and that was a long drive, but that's okay, because it was worth it, and I'm really glad I finally got to see this movie, because it was really good. So, I'll give you what I thought about it after I tell you what I just watched, because I'm going to try to summarize the movie. So, from this point on, it is going to be spoilers, so if you don't want to see some spoilers, I also got some more videos on my channel. But yeah, so let's get started. So the movie starts off with the original Power Rangers, and we see that they are all dying. And then we know that Rita Repulsa, the Green Ranger of their team, actually betrayed them and plans to take over the world using the Zeo Crystal to dominate the universe. But Zordon, the Red Ranger, sacrifices himself and manages to kill Rita by pushing her into the ocean, and she dies there. And then he collects up all the power coins and tells his robot companion to store them away. So Alpha 5 commands down a meteor strike that kills all of the dinosaurs, but it stops Rita, so that works. Then it cuts to the present day, where we see the Red Ranger, Jason Scott, has been put under detention after trying to cause a prank involving going into a locker room, and then he tries to get away from the police in a car and crashes, and pretty much he is now under house arrest and has to go to weekend detention until the end of the year. So there he meets the Blue Ranger, which is going to be Billy, and Billy is being bullied there right from the start. So Jason goes and protects Billy, and then after that, Billy, as a show of thanks, offers to remove Jason's ankle bracelet thing and asks him if he can come with him to help move some equipment for an experiment. So he agrees and goes to help Billy move all of these equipment to a mine where Billy blows it up, and that noise causes the Black Ranger, the Pink Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger to all come to see what's happening, and then they each take a power coin. And then, of course, you know, mine police come and try to chase them down, and in an attempt to escape, they all get inside Billy's van, which they then get hit by a train and all wake up inside of their beds, and they find out that they have been enhanced with superhuman strength and are now like really strong enough to break a sink, and for Billy to be able to knock someone out from them trying to headbutt him. So, kind of trying to figure out what the heck is happening to all of them, they meet up back at the mine, and they find that Trini and Zach, so Trini is the Yellow Ranger. She doesn't really want to interact with pretty much anyone else from the group, but everyone else seems to be at least getting along to a minimal extent because they're now all super enhanced humans. So Trini is now running away from them, and they are jumping over this cliff, and they all manage to get past except for Billy, who barely makes it and then proceeds to fall down into the hole, which everyone thinks he's dead, but he's actually alive and invites them all to come over. So after they all jump into the mountain break and land in the water, they discover that they're in some underground cave and that their power coins glow. So they decide that they need to swim down because, you know, they see something in the water. So for some reason they decide to swim down, and upon doing that they realize that the gravity is actually reversed under the water, and they fall into this cave containing Zordon's ship. So they go into this futuristic ship, and they see that the spaceship isn't functional and that it hasn't been working for a long time, and that it's probably been there for a very, very long time. But they do eventually, after some exploration, come across Alpha 5. So Alpha 5 goes and he recognizes them immediately because he's been waiting for the Power Rangers to return. So upon their return, Alpha 5 tells them about how they are the Power Rangers, how it is their sworn duty to protect the world, and how it is their duty to protect the crystal that is keeping all life on the planet alive. So he takes them to go meet Zordon, and Zordon essentially tells them that they have to be prepared for when someone comes to try to take the crystal, which in this case is Rita, who, where she isn't dead. Her body has been found by a fisherman who brings her back up, and her power crystal restores life into her, and she then goes on this gold hunting rampage in order to resurrect her minion Goldon and steal the power crystal and use that to take over the world and the universe. So while all that's happening, the Power Rangers eventually decide that they are up for the task, and they're pretty much bored with their everyday life and they want to try to be superheroes. So we do see a lot of them training and becoming the Power Rangers, except they cannot morph. And Zordon tells them that it is completely necessary for them to morph because otherwise they'll be too weak to defeat Rita, who will definitely try to take the power crystal. So, bunch of bonding sessions of them talking about their lives, their everyday lives, and how like they got in detention or how bad it is. And eventually they are going to be, able to morph. They think that it's because they're not bonding enough, since they need to be one with themselves and the core, and that's why they need to morph. But pretty much before they are able to morph during their training, Rita decides to sneak into Trini's room and threaten her with, ultimate destruction, and essentially say that she will rescue, or she will spare her if Trini agrees to lure all the other Power Rangers into her trap and help her kill them all, and then she'll spare her when she destroys the world. Trini goes to the other Rangers after Rita leaves and tells them what had happened and how Rita had been in her room, threatening to kill her. And they all decide that they want to take the fight to her and go take her on and go kill her, even though they cannot morph, which leads in Billy dying and him revealing the location of where exactly the crystal is. So Rita now has some direction as to where she is going. Billy is dead. They all take Billy's body back down to Zordon's ship, and after Zordon had revealed that the reason that he felt it was so necessary for them to morph was because them all morphing would give enough power to the core for him to come back to life, he decides that his only opportunity to come back to life after they all morph except for Billy is, well, he gives it up, and he gives the life energy force to Billy, and Billy comes back to life. And then with them all having bonded over Billy's death and how they are agreeing that they're all willing to die for one another and to protect their planet, they are able to morph into a full team. They take their Zords, they fight some of Rita's monsters, and they go and take the fight to Rita, who at this point has enough power to gather all the gold up from the core of the earth, the bottom of the earth, and resurrect Goldon. So her and Goldon are now going to get the crystal, which is, ironically, under a Krispy Kreme, and she is hunting the Krispy Kreme. So she goes, and Goldon starts to dig up the crystal. They eventually get to the crystal, but the Power Rangers make it in time, start to fight Rita, and Goldon is actually too powerful and pushes them all into a fiery pit that I assume goes into the center of the earth. And they come back as a newfound Zord, which is their Megazord. So now with the power of the Megazord, they figure out how to use it, and they defeat Rita and they defeat Goldon. And Rita is shot out into space. The crystal is safe once again, and the town is saved. So the town people actually all know about the existence of Rita, the gold monster, and now the Megazord and these Power Rangers, and it's all over the news. So they go back to living their daily lives, and of course they cannot tell anyone that they are Power Rangers because that is one of Zordon's rules to being a Power Ranger. So they just all kind of deal with it, but they do feel better about living in that town after that. But they are all still in detention, so they meet up again in detention, and I guess they're just having fun now as a team. Rita, on the other hand, while the fight was going on, they shot her into space, and she is dead. Presumed dead. So with the Power Rangers now agreeing to be a team, they are now all friends, and they now accept the guidance of Zordon, and they go to the ship, and that is their base. They're full-fledged heroes, and it pretty much just cuts off there with them having defeated the threat of Rita. So that was pretty much the end of the movie. So what I really liked about this movie is that this movie really felt like it was meant for the fans of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because first of all, there was a lot of nods at it, to the point where, like, at some times it could feel like you're being kind of fed plot in order to include all of the stuff that they wanted to get in the movie from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So it feels also like every introduction that they had from something that was new to the Power Rangers was made as a big deal. So when they first morph, it's super cool. Everyone's really excited. And then, you know, Alpha 5 is like, you morphed! You have to morph! And then Alpha 5 talks about the Zords, and it's this cool introduction. And then, of course, Alpha 5 has to go, look, it's your Zords! So it felt like every time something from the old series was introduced, Alpha 5 or someone else has to go like, it's Zordon! It's the Zords! Like, yes, we got this in the movie! Look, it is this item that you would recognize! It is your Megazord! I actually don't think they talked about the Megazord all that much, because Rita looked really surprised. So I guess she hadn't seen it before. But yeah, it just really felt like it was meant for the older generation to have this movie that was supposed to kind of revamp the series and bring back a lot of nostalgia. Because even though they have teen actors and they have this storyline revolving around them, you know, being in detention, being in high school, things that they can relate to, I don't think this was really meant for teenagers in general, because there's just so many, like, things that would be considered very weird in the movie if you hadn't watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or seen anything from Power Rangers before. So it wasn't a teen movie. It was teenagers becoming the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I felt like that was really, really cool because, you know, you can have a very wide audience. You can market it towards teenagers, but it didn't feel much like they were... I mean, they did have some double life issues where they go and they're trying to do their schooling or they're trying to get along with their family, but then they have to go train as Power Rangers. So they did have that. But I felt like it was more focused on them trying to overcome the difficulty of them not being able to morph, and then them preparing themselves to stop Rita in order to save their town and the world. So it really did feel like a team of superheroes coming together and training to become those superheroes kind of movie. And then what I also liked was that they didn't really focus on one specific ranger. So even though Zordon was the Red Ranger, and even though, you know, the Red Ranger's the leader of the team, Zordon is still kind of alive by being in the wall. And then we have Jason, who does kind of assert the role as leader of the team, and then it does focus on him at first. We also get backstory on Zach, we get backstory on Billy, we get back... Everyone has their own story. So Billy's we don't really get until the end, but we do see that, you know, at home he kind of just does his own thing. He has different interests than people. He is the first one to figure out the location of the crystal because he spends time dedicating it to that while everyone else is just concerned with morphing. And, you know, Jason, we saw from the beginning why he was in detention. We saw why he has been punished. And Trini, we actually don't see, you know, why she is there. She just kind of explains that her family is very strict, and we do see that later on when her family just doesn't want to, you know, accept who she is, and they kind of want to force her to talk. So her family, she just has family conflicts, and then the reason that she's at the school, she just talks about how she's been jumping around school. So Zach, the Black Ranger, has a dying mother, and that is why he skips out on classes, and he just doesn't want... He's just kind of introduced as this really over-the-top, really, like, energetic daredevil type of character where he's just, like, impulsive, and he's just really go, 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 because he doesn't care. And then later we find out it's actually because, you know, he probably doesn't want to be, like, focused in the world. He just wants that energy, he just wants that adrenaline, because if he stops, he'll have to accept that his mother is dying. So he does have enough, I guess, he has enough of a friendship at some point to share that with the other Rangers. And at that, they do have this whole session where everyone kind of talks about why they're there. Billy explains, you know, he doesn't have a father. He kind of just wants to dissolve himself in information to forget that. He really likes, you know, he likes knowing things. So after all of this, they decide that instead of judge one another, they're going to be friends and put aside their differences and become Power Rangers. They're going to become a team. They want to become a team, which I feel was kind of different from other, you know, superhero team up stories that we might have seen where everyone's just kind of like doing their own thing, and then even if they find out some backstory, it's just like, meh, okay, you do you. But they want to be friends, and they want to be a team, they want to be cool, because now they're the Power Rangers, and even though Zordon keeps putting them down for, you know, not being able to morph, they're still willing to try, and they're essentially like, screw you, Zordon, we're the Power Rangers. And I thought that was cool. One thing that, I guess it's just me, a personal preference, is that they did focus a lot on the family sense. There was a lot of touchy-feeliness, which, honestly, considering the plot and the storyline that they had set up where they all need to be connected and they all need to understand one another to morph, I don't really think they could have done it any other way. But it did feel kind of rushed that everyone just became friends. I mean, from them knowing each other to Jason agreeing to go help Billy, it was literally the span of like 2 days or something. 2 or 3 days. And he's agreeing to go help Billy move equipment to blow stuff up. And then Zach's just kind of like watching Trini, and they don't really know each other. And they even mention that, but it's like, why only when they had gotten so far as to have the crystals already, as to have gotten hit by a train together, did they realize they don't know each other? It just felt like they were all kind of pushed there, and I didn't really feel like there was a natural interaction between them. And I know the movie would have been longer if they, you know, took the time to introduce each and every person to one another, rather than just say like, oh, they all know each other from school. Like, it seems strange to me that they would all be so willing to interact with one another when they don't know each other, to the point where, like, you know, Kimberly and Jason are sitting on a mountaintop like, let's run away. It's like, you don't know each other. But maybe their bad circumstances did call for them finding friendship quickly within one another, but it did feel kind of rushed. And other than that, I mean, it was a love letter to Power Rangers and to the series and to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So, you know, it didn't even really try to be anything else. The plot was pretty simple. There is this bad person trying to destroy the universe, and this is how she's going to do it, and that's it. The only reveal that might have been kind of betrayal was that Zordon actually wanted them to morph for him to come back. And other than that, it's pretty plain and simple. They just have to overcome their own obstacles, and then they have to join together as a team, and then they have to fight the villain. So it was pretty simple in that regard, but, you know, it didn't market itself as much else. It was just like, this is Power Rangers, and it was. So I am pretty excited to see what they do next, now with the introduction of Tommy. So Tommy is going to be in the next one. I don't know how they're going to interact with him. It's going to be really cool, and I guess he is also going to be in their school, because the teacher does say that Tommy Oliver is going to be joining them, and then there's just a green like jacket there on his chair. So we will see how that plays out. But yeah, this was really, really great. You will love it if you are a Power Rangers fan, because it was really good. And I did have some worry that they were going to take things too far and kind of just like ruin everything that Power Rangers was, but it really did feel like a modern revamp of Power Rangers, and I think they did that very well. So I would say go watch this movie in theaters, but it is not in theaters anymore. So go watch it on DVD or wherever you can. If you are a Power Rangers fan, I think you will really like it. So that's pretty much all my thoughts. And that's pretty much also what I got for you. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you think there's anything I missed, if you think there's anything I should add, or there's anything I should know, talk to me in the comments, and I will see you next time. So, bye! Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking that circle button up there. Or you can check out some more of my videos along here. And I also got a Patreon set up that you can find by clicking that square button down there. And don't forget to check out my ARMS live stream. See you there.